in the last interview that I referenced of Mr. Peter Obi on Channel TV, Wike again, took your principal, Peter Obi, to the cleaners. Totally took him out, dragged him, hauled me all over the place. And I'm quoting Wike, not my words. I have enormous respect for Mr. Peter Obi, so I won't say these kind of things. This is what Wike said. He dismissed his presidential ambitions, dismissing Peter Obi's presidential ambitions, and accusing Peter Obi of political opportunism, cheap populism, and politics of sentiments. Wike claimed that Obi lacks the genuine leadership capacity required to guide Nigeria, arguing that Peter Obi's public persona does not match his governance track record. How do you respond?
I like when people speak to specifics. He didn't speak to specifics. He makes verbose, general statement in his usual style. After maybe 40, he has had, he has an abusive relationship with 40-year-old whiskey, by his own admission. I'm not making this up. By his own personal
I have some
admission.
respect for FCT Minister.
No, I do have a lot of respect for him, but we should have respect for each other. The respect should be mutual.
Is it reciprocal, right?
Yeah, it should be reciprocal and mutual. Mr. Peter Obi, as governor, Wike went to Anambra State to say he's learning a lot from Peter Obi's policy on education. That's a statement of fact.
Fact.
He went there with both hands, shook him like
even bowed down.
Lord, bowed down to him like his Lord and Savior, saying that what you have done in education, we in the federal government, then as Minister of State for Education, we are learning from you. He was there. Wike was there when Peter Obi commissioned all the buses he bought for all the public secondary schools, even private, in Anambra State. Wike was there. Wike was part of that arrangement. But today, he's singing from a different hymn book. How are the mighty falling? Tell this not in Gath. Publish this not in the street of Ashkelon. The Philistines are rejoicing over him.
You are quoting the scripture. I didn't know you were also a preacher.
He's boasted that he would defeat Mr. Peter Obi, or it's not in the ballot, it's a non-issue. It's a spectator as far as the election is concerned, an appointee of government. And we usually don't deal with appointees. He had boasted as though the people of Rivers State are in his back pocket. I'm using this opportunity to challenge the over 7 million people living in the geographical entity called Rivers State. Wike is not God. Any man who plays God will fall. Man is not God. And God can never be a man. Wike, even if God wants to transform and become a man, he will not come in the form of Wike. So the people of Rivers State must prove to Wike that he is not more than he thinks he is. He has assumed that he will decide and determine whatever happens in Rivers State. The people of Rivers State needs to prove to him, and he should be aware that Peter Obi roundly defeated him in Obiakpo local government where he's from, in the last presidential election. The record of that vote is still in IREV as we speak. So, your ability to compromise system, compromise institution, rig elections is not what should give you leverage to claim that you can do and undo. The Rivers State people, the people of Rivers State, will give Wike the shock of his life in 2027.
Okay, let's make progress. INEC, they've published the list of presidential candidates, their running mates, and also their details. They showed everybody their details in their forms. They submitted, to INEC. So it's there now in the public domain. Everybody, we've all seen it. And but curiously, in the documents of Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the portions for primary education, primary institutions that attended, and then secondary institution attended were left blank. What we have there is just a degree certificate from the Chicago State University. Can you explain to us, if you know, why there were no records of primary or secondary schools attended?
Okay, that question is best suited for Bayo Nonuga and Daniel Boala. Why is the president not having a primary school and a secondary school? You went to a primary school, you went to a secondary school, you went to a university. I did. Mr. Peter Obi did. St. Augustine's Primary School, Onitsha. Christ the King College in Onitsha, University of Nigeria in Nsukka. So Mr. Peter Obi went to primary, secondary university. I went, you went. Everybody you know who is seeking public office, who has presented documents, had gone to school. How come the president cannot tell us his primary and secondary school? But we have pointers. Mr. Festus Keyamo had claimed that the president is Herbert Einstein of his time and did not need to go to school. By some stroke of magic, he didn't have Wike, he didn't have primary school leaving certificate, but he got a university degree. He said, no, the president can school at home. And then till today, there is no explanation as to why. In fact, it is even said, it is rumored that in 1999, the degree certificate is submitted had University of Chicago. But the one is submitted in 2026 is Chicago State University. Mr. Festus Keyamo had gone to court to demand the educational propriety of the president. He had gone to court, the present Minister of Aviation. He had gone to court some time ago. Before. No, until he until he got on the mandate and is now standing permanently on the mandate. I pray that he's able to find a seat someday.
You don't want to draw the eye of Festus Keyamo. Trust me on that.
We are ready. We are ready.
You don't want to get into the crosshairs of Festus Keyamo.
Ready.
Trust me on that.
We are ready. Of course we are.
Festus Keyamo is not the same as Daniel Buala. I can guarantee you that.
But you know what happens to you is that Festus Keyamo was, respect to him, was one of those guys we looked up to as a young person when he was in the activism space, when he was challenging government, challenging authority, speaking truth to power. But something happens to you once you join the APC. You lose your sense of reality, of truth, of propriety, of dignity. You lose it. And that's what has happened to all of them. Daniel Buala, fantastic spokesperson, used to be a spokesperson. Even the Ononu guy that we are talking about today used to be a powerful newspaper columnist. I learned some of the language I used today reading his... But watch him right now. Or read his write-up now. Insult, vile, destructive, no sense whatsoever for an old man, 70 years old man. I mean, he writes like a baby these days. A man who 30 years ago was writing already, doing wonderful things with the pen. Those were the men we looked at and we said the pen is mightier than the sword. But these days, they rely on the guns to support their pen. That is what happens to you when you join an evil criminal regime.
Let me ask you.
That has no certificates.
Let's interrogate this because it's very important, Zekeri. The Nigerian constitution, the ground norm, does not even require you to have a degree to be president of Nigeria. All that is required is secondary school, attempt. You don't even have to have certificate, just attempt it. Or, in the opinion of the INEC chair or any of the INEC senior officials, if you can demonstrate learning ability, you can speak or you can write, you can sit for the presidency of Nigeria. That's the law as of today. So the question is, has the president met that threshold? Because it's not about degree now, even though there's a debate about the authenticity of the degree. Because at the last election, presidential, whatever, it was litigated up to the Supreme Court. But my question is, why did the president not put, I'm still repeating that, because we need to know what secondary school Mr. President attended. Don't you think so?
You've asked a question that the requirement to be president is that you must have attempted WAEC. Okay. Which secondary school did Tinubu attempt his WAEC? That is the question. Show us your certificate. Show us the secondary. Point us to your classmates. Point us to your teachers, dead or alive. Which primary school did he attempt? We have the most mysterious president occupying the seat of president today. Nobody can tell his father. A simple Google search. Who is the father of Bola Ahmed Tinubu?
Another thing I want to address
Nobody can tell his siblings. Nobody can tell. Have you seen the president brother before?
Some people are just a single child. They're only
Well, have you told us that you are a single child? Nobody can tell where he actually comes from.
It's a Lagosian. Isn't it a Lagosian?
Hi. You are the one that said you are a Lagos boy, so you are appropriating him. The Osun state governor said recently that he's from Iragbiji. He's from Iragbiji in Osun.
No, this
That
is
is their
politics.
son.
Anybody can say anything in politics.
No, he was even saying it's their son in support of the president, that they will support their son. So the president, some people have said it's from Benin Republic. I don't know. But at least I know, I can tell you, I know those who say it's from Lagos. I know those who say it's from Osun. You know your village, don't you?
No, people say all sorts of things during politics.
The Bola in Bola Ahmed Tinubu, what is it? Is it Omo Bolanle? Is it Bola G? Is it all the other variants of Bola? So what is this Bola? Who is Tinubu? I mean, if you occupy public office, people will say, oh, you don't have to go there. The day I want to seek public office, my life comes up for public.
Let's interrogate this other angle to this. There's this other angle that is very important. The entire, controversy surrounding the identity, educational qualifications of President Tinubu, like I said, has been a subject of huge controversy, but not just controversy, litigation. And part of the premise for litigation is forgery, that, okay, you forged this, you forged that. But guess what? In the Electoral Act amended 2026, the National Assembly, in their own wisdom, in section 138, 1 and 2, and all of those, they said, no, you cannot litigate, you cannot accuse a candidate of forgery, except you are the aspirant in his political party. Meaning you now in NDC or Labour Party or PDP or cannot interrogate that. That it has to be any of the aspirants. Now, in Tinubu's case in ADC now, in APC, he had no aspirants, he was returned unopposed.
Yes, he had one, but it was a charade.
How do you speak to the action of the National Assembly, the wisdom?
It's not wisdom, it's foolishness. The National Assembly legislated themselves even out of office. Most of them are not going back. And when we were protesting then for the Electoral Act, protesting that we should have free and fair election, electronic transmission of results, they thought they would be doing us a favor. But it's clear to them now, they are crying every day that, oh, we have brought a law that effectively removed us from power. They are the ones that say it must be direct
and affirmation. Direct and what's it called? Consensus.
Yes. They are the ones who say, that there's no network in their village. A senator will say there's no network in his own village. So we cannot do mandatory electronic transmission of results. So they legislated themselves out of power. And they also legislated criminality into the electoral law. For you to employ anybody in this organization, the person must present to you credentials for which he qualifies for that job. And if you forge any of those credentials, it's called perjury. Am I right? So you forge your certificate. You cannot.
And it's a felony.
It's a felony. It's a crime. You cannot forge your certificate to even apply for a cleaner in this facility. You cannot forge your WAEC. If the requirement to be a cleaner here is that you must have attempted WAEC, you must show us, even if you failed the WAEC, that yes, I wrote WAEC, it's just that I failed in it. But if you forge it, you have committed a crime. So if a cleaner cannot use forged results to get cleaning job in this facility, why is the president using a forged result purportedly, allegedly,
yes,
to contest for the highest office in the land? And in any case, it's not even too alleged. They said that when he submitted his credentials the last time, he put a school that existed after he was born, after he had left secondary school. In the last this thing.
Why did the National Assembly members amend the Electoral Act to say forgery, to sort of protect someone who has been? Don't forget, we've had very important cases of forgery that has led to highly important people
nullified. A minister under this administration was asked to resign because he forged UNN certificate by a president who does not have WAEC.
Allegedly.
And primary. It does not have.
Allegedly.
No. Look, please quote me. I'm willing to. The DSS, the DSS has become DSS for activists and politicians. No problem. I'm willing to go to court for this. The president has no primary school and WAEC. If he has, let him show us. There is space for you to put WAEC and the secondary school you went to in your form. There is space for you to put your primary school and your primary school living certificate in your form. If you don't put it, you don't have it.
Okay. Final question on this, and it's very important, Zekeri. The minimum requirement for entry-level recruitment, either in a bank or a telco, oil company, whatever, name it. Even in the federal civil service, minimum entry level is a good first degree. We'll specify a good first degree. My brother, my question is, if that is the minimum entry level requirement for such jobs, now the highest office in the land, I'm stressing that the highest office in the land, the requirement is that you don't even have to have anything.
Attempt it.
You don't even have to attempt. If INEC chair or whoever can say you are okay.
You are okay.
Yes. My brother, can a country led by such a person in today's world?
Great question. I mean, you've clearly enunciated why the country is where it is today. Because the quality of people who run the country also determine the quality of outcomes that we get. We have a president who cannot even prove to us that he went to primary and secondary school. The Chicago State University certificate is still contentious till today. There are allegations, proven, not even allegations now, that he forfeited money in a drug case in the United States. That's public knowledge. There has been no sensible explanation as to why all of these are happening around the same person. And in that same country, you have professors conducting election and sometimes rigging election for criminals to take over public office. I have not called anybody a criminal. Anybody who thinks he's a criminal is his business. Omoyele is the one who said the president was a criminal. Reno Mokri also said it, although he's now standing on the mandate.
But you do be careful because Omoyele now is in the courts to prove that the president is a criminal.
The problem is
so the president is not a criminal until he's proven otherwise.
To be careful about. Be careful is what got us here.
No, because, my brother, you understand that everyone is innocent until proven guilty.
I have not said anybody is a criminal. Did I mention anybody's name? I said somebody forfeited drug money. Somebody cannot show us results. The one he showed before has been proven to be fake. Are those not criminal tendencies? If you choose to call the president a criminal, it's you that said it, not me.
No. I didn't call the president a criminal. Let's make progress.